right, let's see. I want to see this thing. Apparently something happened in Japan. I don't know what's going on in Japan specifically, but something happened. I don't know what it is, but they said they're finally ending this from Decoy Voice. All right, here we go. Let's see what's happening.
Japan is seeing a small fraction of the issues we do, and they're already going full MAGA on immigration. As a common scam in Tokyo is when non-natives aggressively approach tourists, trying to pressure them to their bar, surprising them with an insanely high bill. But more recently, live streamers are randomly getting attacked for just incidentally recording them.
Damn. Stop that bush.
What?
I said stop that bush.
What bull?
The bush. Stop it.
Abadale says,
Oh.
get a lens DP. We'll soon shut him up.
What are you doing? Get the f out of here.
What's your
Bro,
Yo, cough, bro?
I will
What's
break
your
down your
problem?
phone now. Take that phone away from me. Take that phone away from me.
What the fuck? Are you serious? I heard about this. Thank you for the follow. Welcome. If they try to do this to my brother, I know for a fact my brother is gonna be fighting all of them. He literally will be 1v6ing all of them. He doesn't really care. He'll go in there and kick their asses. If they try to, if anyone tries to mess with me like that, or my brother or so, or my younger sister, yeah, for a fact my older brother will be like will go and be in there fucking literally try to punch. And it doesn't really matter how much he'll get hit or so, he'll still keep going at them.
Cough, bro?
These guys weren't even trying to expose their scam.
That's crazy.
But seeing a camera is apparently all they need to justify an attack. And that wasn't even the worst encounter, as this guy was even boasting about Japan's safety before randomly getting smacked.
Because in America, we don't have anything like this, like a red light district. Of course, if it was in America with all the people that have guns and the crazy, super violent people, I'm sure people would be getting shit. People would be stealing from each other. It would be just absolute chaos. Not that it's too dangerous, really, for any civilized person to enjoy. But it's crazy because you come to Japan and...
Oh, what the fuck? He's not even doing anything. I saw the guy pass by. Look at him. He's right there. The guy is just literally recording himself, talking about Japan and in general. It's kind of funnier so how he said, like, literally Japan is not dangerous and it's safe and everything, but then gets fucking whacked by this guy in the back or so. See, this is like one of the problems that I have or so specifically, right? When you bring someone from a third world country into a first world country, it just doesn't mix very well. It really doesn't, because third world countries are completely different from first world countries. Like, third world countries are really not like super well developed, compared to first world. I'm not saying like they're animals or anything like that, but I'm just saying in this perspective of like, it's basically what that is in general. But it, like, first world countries, like, they have a lot of things that are just basically like set in stone, while third world country, they have some things set in stone, but not everything set in stone. It's kind of like the difference, I don't know, man. It's kind of weird though. Oh, I'd be curious because I know one of my viewers or so is in Japan. Has he seen any of these Nigerian people or so walking among the places or so? I'm so curious on that, actually.
It's crazy because you come to Japan and...
That's crazy. On
And in
occasions?
perfect
Really? Have they came after you for pulling out your phone?
He explains how he was immediately surrounded by them, and even though this was dangerous, he still considers the country to be mostly peaceful. It's sad to see a place like Japan, notorious for being a pristine example on how a large city can still be safe, somehow.
At the end of the day, this poor guy, man, talking about like the insecurities in the area and get smacked, like he wasn't talking about insecurity. He was just talking about like how safe and how secure Japan is. But then the ironic part or so is that guy goes whack, whacks him in the back of the head or so. I think they go after people who are actively streaming. What the fuck? That's so weird. I don't know. I feel like it's recording. I feel like it's definitely recording. Like if you like, do something like that, I don't know, man. It's a little bit weird in my personal opinion. I just don't. I don't know. That's probably the issue is what's been happening in Japan or so that they've been hating like the migrants or so. But I assume they'd be hating like these kind of people. You know, I doubt that they'll be hating like normal people like like Scrap or any other like regular tourist or so. Or like a person who wants to migrate over to Japan legally. I assume these people were brought in. They're probably were brought in from someone else. I'm Asian, so I can blend in. Yeah, I can blend in too as well. So that's the only reason why. So it wouldn't be too hard for me.
Now gets plagued with the same crime in other countries because of the non-natives.
Hey, Radius.
Now the Japanese have been noticing as President Trump and his nationalist policies have been gaining support.
Goddamn, Trump has so much political power influence that it's literally influencing Japan, dude. That's crazy, dude. That's actually wild to be seeing that.
Where Toyota's chairman was even seen decked out in Trump JD clothing, and even their new prime minister shows open support of President Trump. Now don't be mistaken by her position on top of their liberal Democratic Party, as in Japan, that's their conservative and nationalist party, which is
Really? Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know about that actually. Well, actually, I don't really follow any politics in general, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter specifically. I just personally just don't follow any politics in general, so.
looking into the effects of immigration, digging into the arrest stats of Japanese versus foreigners, finding that visitors get arrested 72 times more. Now,
Well, that's the problem itself, that people, the foreigners who don't, what is it? Assimilate? Is it assimilate? Is that the word that I'm looking for? Assimilate to the society or so of Japan or just any first world country in general. Like, because a lot of the third world countries don't assimilate very well into just first world countries, and they like to do their own shit or so, and like to bend the rules and break the rules and everything like that, because that's how they was back in their place. Honestly, you should just, I don't know, maybe arrest them and take them back. If because the whole point of you migrating over to a first world country is because you're trying to escape from the issues that are happening over there in a third world country, whatever, XO, insert whatever issues, right? But I assume you would want to learn the language, some of the laws, and like whatever other stuff, the way just how people live over there in general. I don't know, that's just me though. So. I don't know.
I'm not a math Asian and can't completely rely on their translation, but it's undeniable that Japan is clamping down on immigration just like Trump is in America. As their new minister...
What sort of visitors get arrested due to touching women weirdly in strip clubs? Happened there when it happened? I think... Where have I heard this before? I think I heard this from a friend or so. That it's the same thing. It's the same thing in what was it? Oh yeah, in Vegas or so. One of my friends told me who went over there to Vegas or so, that they threw out a guy or so because they were touching the girls a little bit weird, basically. What is it, the strippers? Yeah, the strippers or so, or I think, yeah, or the dancers or whatever. I don't fucking know, to be honest. It was something like that. They threw out a. They told me that they threw out a guy or so because he was doing like weird stuff to the girls and everything, So I don't know. Like I said,
in charge of foreign nationals is a Japanese woman from America, and she immediately wants to enforce stricter immigration control. Japan is only seeing a small percentage of newcomers compared to America or even Europe, and they're already looking to close their borders. As the sad thing about safety is it doesn't take that many people to completely obliterate it, where their government is just catching up to what Japanese businesses have been doing for years now. And I've seen plenty of complaints about these practices, but I'll never understand the demand of making a place that hates you required to take your money. As back in LA, I lived next to a taco shop that loudly advertised cheap prices in their windows, but whenever I went alone or with other Asians, the totals came up to being nearly double of what they should be. But when I went with anybody Hispanic or even Filipino, the checks were cut in half. Later finding out it was just an open secret, this place charged people that looked like me double. But despite their food being
Yo, what the fuck? That's crazy. I've never heard of anything like that. What the fuck? Yo, that's wild to hear that.
delicious, I stopped going there, as why would I support a racist business? Now did I cease going to all Mexican food restaurants? Of course not, as why apply that awful behavior of one place to everywhere that looks like them? And just because they do it to me doesn't mean we should do it back. But for some reason, we've entered an era online where people demand they keep their so-called enemies afloat. As Japan's new immigration rules angers who is excluded.
Japan has been notorious for keeping out foreigners, and Japan is facing a massive crisis. It's facing a massive crisis of lack of population growth. They are
The reason why is because there's other things that are mixed into that culture, so that's causing the decline of the birth rate in Japan. Okay, all right. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I'm going to go to, like, for me personally, right? If I'm gonna go to a different country, I expect, like, you know, the people from that country to be those. You know, I'm not expecting to go to Japan and see, like, I don't know. I'm just saying, you know, an entire block of, like, Nigerian people. You know. Yeah, I'm gonna go to Japan to see Japan, the culture and everything like that. I doubt it that a Nigerian person is gonna go over there and assimilate into the culture, because we've just seen it right now that they've been assaulting people for, I guess, pulling out their cameras and recording and, like, whatever other dumb things in general. So yeah, if I want to go to a Nigerian neighborhood, I will go to Nigeria. Yeah, exactly. Like, if I want that, I go to Nigeria, you know, or Ghana, or Tanzania, or Mozambique. I didn't even know Mozambique was an actual place. I thought it was a weapon from Apex Legends, to be honest. But yeah, this reminds me that in India there was a Korean-owned restaurant that didn't allow Indians. Lamau. It was around 2018, 2019. What? That's interesting. I'm like, that makes no sense, because it's just like, wait, you're in India, but then you're not allowing Indians into your restaurant. Make it make sense to me. Like, honestly, like, personally, like I said, right, a lot of these people don't assimilate into the culture or into the Japanese culture in general. Like, they don't really assimilate. They don't really, like, learn. They don't really bother doing it. They're just kind of there, just scamming people. Mostly tourists, of course, but it is kind of wild or so to see that.
realizing that they have to open the doors for Africans, but they don't want the Africans to be mixing with the Japanese people. How can we just continue to just be treated in this way? What do you guys think?
Teach your fucking people to learn to assimilate into the Japanese culture. How about that? Not really hard at all, to be honest. Respect the culture. Learn the language. Learn the rules over there. It's like basically going into someone else's house and then they're fucking up your house, you know? It's like, no, you go to their house because you're a guest, you know, you're someone. You gotta learn their rules. You gotta learn how they think. You know, if they ask you to take off your shoes, you take off your shoes. You know, that's it, you know? That's all it is to it.
Just let me know in the comments, what do you think?
I don't know about you, but if I found out an entire country openly stated, Americans are less than, so here's some rules to prevent them from entering, I wouldn't—
They gotta ask, what would Yasuke do? He'd probably be attacking Attack on Titan stuff right now at the moment.
rush to social media to cry, why won't they let me fix their country? As if they're judging
That's
me
so
from the
stupid.
outside, it's only gonna get worse once I'm there, as the fact that someone would have this sense of entitlement to entering makes me believe this isn't going to be a net positive. So if Japan fails, at least it fails as Japan. It's just insane to think we covered this just
Yeah.
over a year ago, and it only took the Japanese to see this mildly annoy their public transit.
Honestly, this just makes them hate black people in general. Like we know for a fact that, like, Asians can be pretty racist towards black people, right? But like this just kind of pushes that like it pushes the stereotype and pushes the racism even more, you know. They think that like, you know, not like black people are just more annoying and more of this, you know, they're loud and obnoxious and whatever other stuff in general, you know. It just kind of pushes the agenda even further of them being even more racist towards them, you know. And I'm like, it's kind of been happening or so, because there's been a lot of, well, not a lot or so, there's been like stores and restaurants and stuff like that have been like said only Japanese only, you know, because they don't want to deal with the foreigners. Like I completely understand them, you know. Like they're not respecting any of their stuff, they're not respecting anything. You go to their house and you're basically making a mess and everything, and then guess who has to clean it up, you know? Not them, they have to. The Japanese people have to clean it up, because it's just kind of like, what the fuck, you know? It's like, what are you doing? These are just normal people just trying to run their daily lives or so, and then you're just kind of like, you know, being a little shithead. Hey, Natsuko.
It for them to go full MAGA or MAGA.
MAGA?
This video is sponsored.
Jeez, I don't blame them. I
Japan is
really don't
seeing
blame the Japanese. I don't blame the Japanese being angry at foreigners. I don't really blame them at all. You know, it's completely understandable. You know, but they have to understand, like, you know, not all foreigners are the same. You know, like, you know, at the end of the day, you know, Scrap is over there. You know, he's chilling. He's having a good time. You know. It sounds like the reason for a taser. I don't even know if it is available for a taser over there. Yeah, because apparently some guy got hit in the back of the head or so when he was just recording a YouTube video for himself. And then some random Nigerian guy fucking smacked him and you know, whopped him on behind the head and everything. So it's, I don't know. It's just, I just don't blame him. I just don't blame the I wouldn't blame anybody. Like, it doesn't even matter if it's Japanese, you know, white, Mexican, Asian, fucking, I don't really care. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Like if you have someone that's coming to annoy the shit out of you like that in general, you know, I don't blame them for being angry at them and thinking like they're all basically like that, you know. I really don't. Like, I actually generally don't. I would assume, you know, like I said, there's always a phrase or so. If it does not apply, you let it fly, okay? TBH always told me that phrase every single time, you know? If you're getting butthurt, it's because it is applying to you. And if you're not getting butthurt, that means you're not the sole cause, okay? All right? Yeah, the trip has been amazing. 10 out of 10 would come again, assuming JP doesn't ban tourists. I'm hoping it doesn't, because that'd probably be one of my dreams to go to Japan, you know? That's like one of my dreams or so, to go to over there. I mean, you want to be stupid in public, I feel you should get tasered. Yeah, I feel like it, you know? Well, I know in America or so, you probably would get shot. I'm like, remember, right? We had a day and age or so, the era of like prank YouTubers or prank content creators, where like literally these prank kids or so would try to do some pranks and stuff like that, and then they would some of them would get shot, you know, and it's just like, well, it's basically fuck around and find out, you know. That's why I just personally like it's just kind of like, dude, it kind of sucks, because it does ruin it for a lot of the rest of us, because there's always a saying or so. It only takes one person in this moment anyways, a few people to ruin it for everyone else, you know? And that's pretty much just what it is in general. But yeah. Hey, Nico. But anyways, that's the end of the video. You guys can comment, like, subscribe to all that fancy jazzy stuff. Honestly, I'm not surprised at all that something like, because we've seen I think the Tyler Oliveira video talking about this situation as well, where there's been like migrants in like other countries as well, just causing chaos or so in their specific countries. I just don't understand why they don't just, like, you know, arrest them and send them back, you know, just send them back. I just don't understand, you know. I just personally don't understand specifically why they don't just arrest these people and just, you know, put them behind bars. It would be so much easier, or just, you know, or just specifically just, you know, just send them back to where they came from, and that's it, you know. But whatever. That's just me anyways. But yeah, that's the end of the video, and peace.